Shout out to my boy Michael Rapp, but you don't want to go there with Kevin Durant, trust me.
But I feel like I would look at corner 17th Street and just see like limbs for KD. Like he kind of needs to put on some weight, maybe, right?
Well, look, KD can stand on 18th Street and still punch Michael Rappaport on 17th Street because he's so long. So, yeah, I don't even think he needs to go to 17th Street. He can stand on 18th and still hit him.
Hey guys, welcome on into Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks. You know what this show's about. We get to sit down with some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment over a beverage of their choice. And things look a little bit different here. Kind of the same, but I moved apartments quite literally down the hall. Now it's going to take some time to figure this whole new place out. We actually have a wall, which we haven't had for an entire year, me and my boyfriend. And so, but for the meantime, we got a lot of space. I'm going to be doing a lot of TikToks, and that means that I've got a lot on my hands. And that is something that my guest here on the show today knows how to juggle well. He has so many different projects on the go. You will know him as three-time Pro Bowler, current owner and creator of Lights Out Xtreme Fighting, none other than Shawne Merriman, who also is my former colleague from Fox Sports 1. Thank you so much for being here on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Julie. It's been a long time, actually, since back in the Fox days and red carpet days and everything else. So I'm glad to see you doing well.
Yes, the red carpet days are behind. Nope, don't need those anymore. But yeah, that was cool. Shawne and I got to go to the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, and you were there as well. And that was an experience.
It was. You know what? It's always cool because we get stuck in doing what we're doing, and then you get an opportunity to go and do something else, right? So you get a chance to be around the kid. I have a 10-year-old son now, so to get a chance to go to that kind of stuff now, it's always been cool to me.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I could do that again, but I'm nobody now. But not just joking. Drinks with Binks is the #1 rated show in the universe. And what do we do on the show? We drink. And what are we drinking today?
Today we having a coffee. I got a long day. I got a 13-hour day ahead of me, 5:30 wake-ups. And so I got my coffee just sitting here ready to go.
Okay, awesome. Well, I have coffee too. And look, I did this for you. A little old school,
yeah, look at that.
Vintage. I brought out the old mug from Fox Sports 1. This is 20th Century Fox no longer exists, I guess.
Right, but you look like you have about 6 espressos in there at least.
Oh yeah, baby. Cup. How do you think I get through life by caffeine? Okay, so what are we wait, before you sip, what are we toasting to today?
We're toasting to seeing each other again for the first time in a long time. The red carpet's being behind us. No more red carpets. Those are old news. And then to your 16 espressos.
Awesome. Those are great. Okay, well, cheers. And also to you. Congratulations on all your success with Lights
Thank you.
Out. Okay. Coffee just, never gets old. That's because it's so addictive. Let's get on to you, Shawne. You have been doing, when I first met you, when you were, mostly doing analysis for FS1, it's on football, but now you are full on in. You also do that as well, but MMA. You got Lights Out. Tell me how this sort of came to fruition as a passion project.
Well, what happened was between my 2005 and 2006 year in the offseason, this guy by the name of Jay Glazer convinced me that, hey, I know you box and you've been doing some boxing for a while, but maybe you should go and try some MMA. So I said, you know what, cool, let me go see how that work out. And I heard it can help out, my hand-eye coordination, my hips and stamina and things like that. So I said, cool, I'll try it out. I'll go in there. So my first day walking in there, who do I see? Jay Glazer, but the second person I saw was Randy Couture. And I was looking around like, hold on, I'm not sparring Randy Couture today. I just want everybody to understand that that's not going down. But anyway, I started practicing, doing every offseason. I fell in love with the sport. So that's how my MMA background and career started. What was that, 10 years ago now? Something more than that, 13, 14 years ago. 14.
Yeah, math isn't really a forte on
Yeah.
14 years
Well,
ago.
14, okay. 15 years ago, yeah.
Wow. So then first of all, it's perfect that the first person you saw was Jay Glazer at an MMA gym. But then also now you have your own fighting brand. Like what makes your fighting brand unique?
Well, the difference is, for one, when I came into the MMA, my nickname being Lights Out from football. And, I had the apparel and we were selling at Tilly's and a bunch of other stores in the country. And so obviously everybody knew me as Lights Out. But we also knew that Lights Out was the perfect name and match for the sport of MMA. With the football rules and how things are now in the NFL, like it's not as celebrated as it is in MMA. So MMA was perfect. So we named the league Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. Fox Sports gave us an opportunity to come on over the regionals on Fox Sports Western Prime Ticket. This will be about a year and a half ago now, almost a year ago now, in last May. And we knocked it out the park. And one thing that's been different since, I came from a football background, we have former professional athletes from the NFL. We got some former rugby stars coming over and some former hockey players also coming over.
Perfect. Okay, so what former hockey players?
You know who I've been courting, and I've been making a joke for a long time. He's a longtime friend of mine. What I think will be a great MMA fighter is Tom Wilson from the Capitals.
Oh, well, yeah. That's like he's a fighter that's somehow in hockey right now. He'd be great.
I tell him that all the time, and he jokes and he laughs. And I say, look, when you retire, you let me know, because I know you're going to come and get an amateur fight or something and then Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. But, there's been a lot of guys with, just kind of just recently retired because, Julie, like once you're done playing sports or whatever, you have that year or two where you're kind of like, oh, what do I do next? What do I do? And most of these guys still want to come and compete. And so now with Lights Out Xtreme Fighting, we give an opportunity to use that competition. And some of the guys just come and train MMA, and you might have some few here and there that end up going and taking some amateur fights and going and having a long professional career in mixed martial arts. So those are the type of players and former athletes that we're looking for.
I love that you're scouting them. So then who in the NFL, let's say active player right now, would you have your eyes on to be able to join your league someday?
And these are big names, and they probably will never do it, but I think guys like Khalil Mack would be great fighters because, they play at around 260. They can probably fight around 220 or 240 or something like that. And they would just be monsters because they're so explosive, they're so athletic. If Aaron Donald one day decide to ever come to be an MMA fighter, those guys, they're so explosive and they're so athletic that they would just come and just do damage in the sport.
Yeah, it would be a no-brainer to be able to get those guys. And I feel as though they, in their DNA, like that they would want to do that because it's kind of similar to almost some of the stuff that they're doing right now. We have to go to break, but we have a whole lot more we want to get to with you, Shawne Merriman, NFL related, MMA related, and beyond here on Drinks with Binks. We're sipping on a little coffee. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you next.
Hi, I'm Darius Leonard, and I had Drinks with Banks.
Hello, this is Michael Bennett, New York Times bestseller, and guess what? I had Drinks with Binks. Oh, it's hot. Sorry, guys.
Welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB, joined by three-time Pro Bowl linebacker Shawne Merriman, who also has his own MMA company. Shawne, we were just talking about the UFC in the commercial break. Who would you want to fight in the UFC?
It's funny. I talked to Dana about it a few different times. We've initially joked about it, but then it turned into serious conversations. But fight is one of these things that you don't go and try it, right? Like people are like, hey, I'm gonna go try it out. It's not like you're going out playing dodgeball or a pickup game of basketball. Like, no, when you fight, this is your life. This is what you have to do. But I got the mentality that I'll fight anybody. If you put anybody in front of me, I'll fight. It doesn't matter. And I'm not gonna sit there and call out Francis. I'm not calling out John Jones and a lot of these people that's looking for clout nowadays. But for me, I talked about fighting Greg Hardy at some point in time, and I think that he looked great lately. Other than his last fight that he had, he looked terrible. But before then, I think he made leaps and bounds as an MMA fighter. And the thing is there's going to be a lot of NFL players taking the same path that do it much earlier. He did it late, but I definitely would step in there with a few guys. There's no problem.
Okay, so you're leaning more towards like former athletes versus like you and Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor's too small. I mean, he's a small
different
guy.
Weight classes.
Yeah, different weight classes, and
Pound him down.
Yeah, I would try to just throw him out the cage. He's one of my favorite fighters, but we get in there and I'll just lay on him and wear him out that way.
Yeah, you just literally sit on him and he would be done. Okay, well, let's get to some NFL because we're shooting this on a Monday. This is airing on a Wednesday, but we had some breaking news before it came on. And Sam Darnold, former quarterback from the Jets, traded to Carolina for basically a bag of pucks. This is sort of like a whole bunch of random picks. 2021 6th-round pick, 2022 second and 4th-round picks. What do you think about the idea of the Jets deciding to, cut ties with Darnold when the last couple of years have been a bit rocky, but like maybe not necessarily all his fault? Like what's your thought on him being traded?
To be honest, good for Sam Darnold. That organization, they're trying to figure out what they want to do. They have so many problems, and Sam Darnold, in my opinion, wasn't one of them. You start to look around the organization, and from top to bottom, GM all the way down to coach to the personnel, they have so many different issues. It might be a blessing, in my opinion, for Sam Darnold to get out of there. If a team and organization don't want you there, go somewhere where you want it. Go somewhere where you have a better opportunity to succeed. He was going to succeed there. And with the Jets, they're going to draft a quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence will be gone, but whether it's Justin Fields or whoever it is, they're going to draft a quarterback, but let that be their problem, right? Because if I'm a quarterback coming out of college, I don't want to go to the Jets. They're just a bad organization right now. They can't figure it out. So, in my opinion, good for Sam Darnold.
Right, yeah, there's just been sort of bad move after bad move, and a bit of a new beginning for Sam in Carolina, and hopefully he's able to. You always want to see players succeed, and he was an early round pick. So, also some more news though, and I'd be curious as a former player for you on your perspective that the league is now moving to 17 regular season games. What do you think about that as someone who had many injuries as when you played?
Yeah, I laugh about the times that we play in. And I always hate it when you see older guys saying, back in the day we used to slam each other and the game was harder and tougher. And I hate to sound like one of the old guys, but, the way I played the game and a lot of guys that come from my era, they can't play 17 games. It's just not going to happen. There's going to be a lot more injuries. And I don't necessarily have a problem with the 17-game schedule. I have more of a problem with guys not being compensated correctly for the 17 games. At some point in time, there needs to be less preseason games or no preseason games, and maybe have joint practices. But to me, in my opinion, the reason why the NFL is so great is because week in and week out for 16 weeks, you're getting the guy's best effort. The hard hits, guys diving for first downs and diving for sacks and saving big plays. And now you go to a 17-game schedule where now guys may be looking to take care of their bodies a little bit more, maybe not go as hard, maybe have an injury that set them back during the whole offseason. And think about the teams that are out of the playoffs by week 10, right? Or week 11, whatever that week is. Now you got to play 6 or 7 more games knowing that you have no opportunity going to the playoffs. So it doesn't make sense to me because of how reckless and hard the game is. But if you're going to do that, you have to compensate guys correctly.
Right, definitely. And we've had multiple NFL players on and discussing how it feels like you're in a car crash like every game because your body is being put through so much and the effects of that later on in life. But when you played, you're part of the Chargers. We're looking at the Chargers now. Friend of the show, quarterback Justin Herbert, just absolutely phenomenal year. But not everything around him was. And you were critical of them. They've made some changes. What grade would you give the Chargers now? I know we're looking at the draft, but where are they now and what do they need to get back to some better days?
Well, I thought they were smart by bringing in a defensive-minded head coach, right? Because you know what Justin Herbert's going to do on the offense side of the ball. He's a great quarterback. And in fact, before he was drafted during the combine, I was tweeting out saying, hey, Justin Herbert is the only quarterback they should go and get. So when they did that, I'm not surprised. I was surprised at how fast and how he got on the field because of Tyrod Taylor's injury, but I'm not surprised at the year he had. I think that if I was them, I would go and beef up that offensive line. I think you have two of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and a combination of both, and some guys that mix in there. They lost Hunter Henry, which is kind of a setback, but they picked up another tight end. You still got players on defense. So, if I was them, I'd go up and beef up the offensive line and make sure that Justin Herbert never gets touched.
Yeah, because he has been incredible even when he wasn't able to have as many sort of resources around him. Got to ask about Phillip Rivers. We know that he seems like quite an interesting character, but from your perspective playing with him, what's something that would surprise us about him as a person?
Phillip, he reminds me of you ever been around a kid that does everything and watches everything you do and go and do the same things? So Phillip will watch how you walk, your mannerisms, your talk, everything you do, and he'll watch it and use it against you in an argument, right? This is a guy that's the ultimate competitor. He hates losing at everything. And I'm not talking about just on the field. It could be a thumb wrestling match. It does not matter. Phillip wants to go out and win, right? So he'll watch you for days and weeks. You get in an argument with him or you go back and forth in practice and he'll imitate your walk, imitate how you talk and watch your mannerisms because he notices everything that goes on around him.
That is wild. So could he mimic the Lights Out dance?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he can walk, talk, act just like me. If someone ever asked him to, he would sound like me. He knows how to make the tone of voice and break it down the huddle like how I would break down the huddle before every game. He can do that. So if anybody get around him and ask Phillip Rivers how I break down the huddle, he would sound, walk, talk, and act just like I did.
Wow, you know what? I think his talents must have been wasted because he would be fantastic on Saturday Night Live. We have a game coming up after the break. We're going to play a little Lights On, Lights Out. So don't go anywhere. This is Drinks with Binks with Shawne Merriman, and we'll be back after this.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's Ryan Clark, and I had Drinks with Binks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB, and we like to play games here on the show. So we, of course, here have Mr. Lights Out himself, 3-time Pro Bowler, linebacker for the Chargers and the Buffalo Bills, and also now has his own MMA company. So we are going to say a statement. First of all, I guess I'll say the title of the game is Lights On or Lights Out. Okay, so I'm going to say a statement. And you are going to, if you agree with it, you go, lights on. And if you don't, you say, lights out. And then you say why.
Done.
Okay, let's do the damn thing. Raider Nation is overrated as a fan base.
I'll say the lights out. I hated playing against them. I hated playing in the black hole. I hated that stadium. Hated the fans, but they ride hard. They go hard in the paint. They represent. So I think that they're a great fan base.
Oh, great! Well, that was a nice tip of the cap for not getting any trolls in your mentions over that one. Okay. MMA is scarier to compete in than NFL.
Lights on. One thing that I always say, and because I do both sports and I've been doing both sports for years, football is a full body contact. It's not like you're getting punched in the face or punched in the part of your body or put in some chokehold or anything like that. You're running full speed into another grown man that's 250 pounds plus. It's the absolute worst thing you can possibly do. Okay,
so you're saying that NFL then is scarier than MMA.
Oh, yeah. So am I doing lights on, lights off, lights on for that, or lights out?
Lights off.
Okay, yeah, lights out. Lights out for that one. Okay.
I thought you would have said MMA because you're getting.
No, people ask me all the time, and I say, look, if you can play football, you can do combat sports. Yeah, that way. Upward a little bit. Yeah, that one.
Not right there, not right in the noggin. Okay, I think Tom Brady will win another Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, lights out.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going lights out with that one. They had a great year. They brought a lot of guys back. But it's different coming into this year knowing that you got a target on your back from week one. People were always trying to figure out what they were going to do. There was no preseason games. There wasn't a lot of film in them. Now people have film. I think their season's going to be a lot tougher.
Okay, Tom is done then. Okay, so you said you want athletes from different types of sports fighting in this. We know that you're from Prince George's County in Maryland, also the hometown of a Mr. Kevin Durant, who may or may not have tried to challenge a media member actor to a fight on the corner of 17th Street at Catch Steak maybe a couple days ago. Do you think, we've seen Kevin Durant talk the talk, but do you think he can walk the walk?
I'm going lights on with that one. He's from my hometown in PG County, and I can tell you when they mean business there, they mean business. So shout out to my boy Michael Rapp, but you don't want to go there with Kevin Durant, trust me.
But I feel like I would look at corner 17th Street and just seeing like limbs for KD. Like he kind of needs to put on some weight, maybe, right?
Well, look, KD can stand on 18th Street and still punch Michael Rappaport on 17th Street because he's so long. So, yeah, I don't even think he needs to go to 17th Street. He can stand on 18th and still hit him.
Yeah. He's got the mind games too.
He does.
I think he could really get in guys' heads. Okay, you're really good with branding, and you have created your own brand. You've been really big into that. Drinks with Binks. This is your first iteration of it. You agree that this is a great name and concept for a show, and that it will make a lot of money someday.
Lights on.
Lights on.
Lights on. They got the perfect person, perfect name. The only thing you need is a big picture of you in the background holding a drink, big smile. Then you're
Wouldn't that be great? Just like right beside me is a big photo of me. Well, I have a photo of me and Luke Robitaille. It's not big enough. So big picture of me with a big drink.
That's right.
That'd be great.
I always use T.O.'s quote, I love me some me. So go ahead and put a big picture of you back there with a cup in your hand, big smile, you in there.
That is perfect. My boyfriend's going to love that. I'm going to get a big photo of myself and just put it on the wall, and he can see it all the time. Okay, this has been an amazing game of Lights On, Lights Out with Mr. Shawne Merriman. We've got a whole lot more. Guys, don't go anywhere. This is Drinks with Binks. We'll be back after this. Subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube page for clips and full episodes. Follow us at Fubo Sports on all social media channels. Also available in podcast form wherever you find your favorite pods. Hey guys, we've had an awesome time drinking and binking here with Shawne Merriman, 3-time Pro Bowler, linebacker, and now, of course, owner and creator of Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. Where can we find all of your awesome stuff next?
Yo, you can find all of our stuff on social media at Lights Out XF. You go to lightsoutxf.com for updates and everything we got going on with the league and our fights. Hopefully we start back soon here, sometime in May, June. Get us going again, and you can obviously find me at Shawne Merriman on all the social networks.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on starting your own fighting league. That is absolutely incredible. I can't imagine how much work it's taken. And the fact that it's on television and you can find it online and everywhere. So it's been great seeing you again, bud. Back to the FS1 days. Rest in peace, red carpets, and everyone else. Red carpets, we are no longer. Oh gosh, that's LA bullshit. We don't deal with that in New York City, baby. Guys, you know you can find all of our other interviews that we've done on our social accounts. Check us out on YouTube at Fubo Sports. And until next time, bottoms up, bitches.